Hello, lovely people. It's very lovely to see you all. So we're going to start. It's going to be an autumnal practice today. So really, as the weather is shifting to that cooler sense, just a practice to really warm and energize the body, but also nourish and nurture the body. So a practice to fill you up rather than expending too much energy, although we will be kind of moving and so on. But at the same time, you want to really feel that sense at the end of it, but rather than feeling tired, a little bit like energy is being pulled out of you, you've really been able to lift your energy through the body. So come into a comfortable seated position, and your hands can rest on the knees. You can use one of the mudras, index finger to palm is good. You can bring the palms facing up, or else you can just have palms on the lap. And just take a moment. If you've got your blanket underneath you, so you really feel that sense of warmth as you sit on the mat, and then just spend a few moments just to shuffle your body around a little bit. Lift up each knee in turn maybe. Just feel that sense of connecting down to your sit bones, so you feel that contact with the earth. And then, when you do feel grounded through your sit bones, then if you just breathe out, really deep out breath down into your pelvis. Breathing in, letting your eyes shut. And breathing out again, deep down into your belly. And just follow the rise and the fall of your breath for a few moments. But as your out breath arrives, do feel this sense of your body's contact with the earth. This feeling of settling on its surface. And so gravity is working on the body all the time to hold you to the earth's surface, so you're not floating off into space. So now, these moments are to feel that contact. Just to let yourself relax into this downward flow to earth. So you feel yourself as part of the earth's surface rather than separate from it. And your breath, a bit like glue, is allowing you to stick and settle more fully on its surface. So you're just sitting, observing, being present to yourself. And however you're feeling your body this morning, seeing if you can bring a flavour of kindness into whatever sensation is rising up. Very gentle movement now Very soft movement. But just make any adjustments here so you feel a sense of lift up through the spine from the earth. You don't have to pull your spine up, but just so you feel from the earth the contact, the base of the body. You can feel the spine drawing upwards towards the sky. And so now your awareness coming to your in-breath and the flow of energy up along the spine from the earth. And holding the rhythm of your breath as you allow your eyes to open again. And then you'll take your knees, drawing them up to the center and stretching out your legs in front of you. Still keep sitting on the blanket. And your toes are flexing up towards the ceiling. Fingers are just by the sides of the waist, by the sides of the hips, down on the floor. And in breath, your toes will point away from you. And the out breath, toes flexing back up. Just doing a few rounds here. In breath, toes away. Out breath, toes back up. And then bringing the toes so they're flexing back up to the ceiling. And with your in-breath, reaching up and forward. Fingers lifting up into the air. And then letting your shoulders soften. So as your shoulders soften, you then feel your arms as a continuum of the spine. So no tension, just to lift them up. And just holding there as the spine lifts. An in-breath, energy rising up along the spine. With your out-breath, hinging forward from the waist, and your arms will follow in alignment with the spine. And at some point, you can just drop them down towards the feet or the legs. And you'll look forward. And you'll breathe in, looking forward, your spine lifting. And then put a bit of bend into your elbows wherever they are. And just draw them out to the sides of the body. So in doing so, you're just softening your shoulders, and then you can move your head from one side over to the other. Just loosen up the neck a little bit. Now, as you move your head from one side to the other, then just walking your hands down a little bit. It may only be marginally, hands walk down the legs. And then the head back to the center line and looking forward again. Breathing in, breathing out. And an in-breath coming back to sitting, hands sliding up. Another in-breath, and your arms will float up again. And as they rise up above the head, now catch hold of both elbow points, one hand over to the other. And just draw up the elbow points for a breath or so. Then dropping your left hand down your spine, and with your right hand, if you just draw that left elbow point up and back. To the other side, your left hand over to your right elbow point, the right hand's just dropping down the spine. And you're just drawing that right elbow point up and back with the left hand. Both hands now up to both elbow points. Draw them up. And out breath again, hinging from the waist, folding forwards. Just pausing when you find you've got to your edge of how far you want to fold, and then opening out your arms. Breathe in, bend your elbows back so you can feel your shoulders softening. It's a big circle almost you're drawing with your arms out in front of you. And breathing out, the hands coming down to the mat, to the legs, to the floor, and you're into forward fold. And again, just moving your head one side to the other. Coming up and into sitting. Left hand over to your right knee and your right hand taking a big circle up and behind you. Bring the hand back to join the left hand by the side of the right knee. And another in-breath, another big circle up and behind. Bringing the hand again forward, another round. And we'll do one more. Both hands now just on the side of the right knee. Bring your hands up to the side of the right leg now, walking them out in front of you, just on the fingertips, and then take them for a walk over to your right hand side. So you're coming into a kind of sort of twist. Now angle your sit bones because that left sit bone may want to lift up a little bit. Look forward, so you're looking out to your horizon to the side. Just draw a little bit of energy into your core here, so you're really drawing up and into your core to give you a bit of space to come into this twist. And your hands sliding back into the legs. So taking your hands down to the left leg now, right hand on top of the left knee, and with your in-breath, the left hand's lifting up, coming behind you, taking you into a twist. Bring the hand back round to join the right hand. And another circle. In-breath into twist to the left. And then the hand coming back up. We're going to do another 2 rounds. And final one. Just making sure you're not rushing at all. Really take your time to feel each part here. Hands are on the right knee. Just take them to the side of the left leg. And then with the hands on the side of the left leg, you're walking them up onto the fingertips away from you. And then over to the side of the body. So really anchor into your right hip, because you will feel that sense of tipping a little bit onto the left side of the body. And so if your right hip anchored, you can draw up and into your core. Almost so you get this ringing action, a bit like you're wringing out a tea towel. The next breath, hands coming back again to the legs, and slide your hands up to the crease of the hips. Just bringing your thumbs into that crease of the hips. You're really just pressing down now. And feel as you press down, you can just work your way around that crease. Feel that sense of grounding, feel that sense of releasing through the pelvis down to the earth as you do so. Almost like you know when you're planting a plant and you kind of heel in the plant, you push the earth down a little bit more firmly around it to hold those roots in place. Bringing the hands to the front of the legs, elbows out to the sides and softening the elbows. Breathe in and lift into your spine. And breathe out, your hands sliding down the legs towards your feet. Looking forward, put a little bit of sway into your spine. And follow that sway as you start to walk your hands back up towards the tops of the thighs. And then bending your knees and coming down onto the spine. Do bring your blanket underneath your spine so you're lying on something soft here. And your knees bent, you're down on the spine now. And then hands by the sides of the body. And an in-breath, lifting up your pelvis, rolling it up into bridge. And the out-breath, folding back down again to the floor. So another in-breath. You're coming up into a little bridge here on your in-breath. Vertebrae to vertebrae. Out-breath, back to the mat. Keep following your breath flow, another couple of breaths. And seeing, rather than feeling that you've got to arrive into this kind of perfect bridge or anything like that, just seeing how the body's feeling as you're moving. And how that feeling does change as you move through this movement. Letting your body flow through the in-breath into the out-breath. You're letting go of the in-breath, letting go of each part of the breath. Now as you breathe in, your pelvis lifting, your arms will float up over the head as well. And your chin will lift away from the chest, rather than tucking it into the chest. And then as you breathe out, you're lowering back down as the arms come down. Now around. Arms and pelvis lifting. And breathing out, rolling the spine back down as the arms come down to the sides of the body. Another round. And one more. Right knee on the mat, left knee drawing in. Interlace your fingers and just press them on the top of the shin. So you're drawing that left knee in as deeply as you can into your core. Releasing the left leg, planting it down. Interlace your fingers the opposite way to which you were just doing as your right knee comes in. And again, really drawing that right knee as deeply as you can into your core. Dropping the right knee back down. Both knees coming in, hands on the tops of the knees, Draw your right knee slightly away, just as far as your arm will reach, as you draw your left knee in. Then switch over, right knee coming in, left knee away. Moving from side to side. Left knee in. And then right knee. One more round. And both knees coming into the chest. And just hugging in your knees, rocking from one side of the sacrum over to the other. Now go slowly enough here so you do feel you're really massaging out the lower spine. Keep feeling that contact of the body with the mat. And then you can either roll over to your side and then just ease yourself up into sitting, else crossing the legs, catch hold of the outer edges of your feet, draw your feet up towards the ceiling, and then lifting up and into sitting. Then when you come into sitting, if you make your way onto all fours and take a moment, keep your mat underneath you, hands just stretching out in front of you, middle finger pointing away from you, onto the flats of the feet, or you can tuck toes under if you prefer. And then just lifting up into your core, and the small movement here, just tucking your sit bones under, and so your spine will curve up towards the ceiling. Your chin will tuck in. You're just curving the spine up. Keep lifting up into your core as you do so. Now, keeping everything else quite still, tilt your sit bones up, and just feel the opposite movement along the spine lengthening. Just pause there for a moment or two, keep connecting with your core muscles here. And then, that's tucking under of the sit bones and feeling that ripple along the spine all the way around and into the crown of the head. It's hanging between the shoulders. So sit bones tilting up. Note how the spine is lengthening. And follow that lengthening, that lift all the way along and up into your heart. Keep your belly muscles so lifting up towards the back of the spine. So out breath, spine curves, upwards, in breath, spine lengthens. Now keep the movement here just really originating from the tilting of the pelvis rather than actually moving into cat and cow proper. So you're just literally allowing the spine to unravel itself here, rather than trying to move to release tension, if you know what I mean. Almost like working from the inside out. And you're feeding your body with your breath. Keep lifting your belly muscles. And then from this small movement, when you're working with that natural, the natural open, closing in a way of the body, of the spine, we're now going to accentuate the movement. So we're going to come into more archetypal cat and cow. So now as you breathe out, the spine will curve, but you'll draw your pelvis back a little bit. And then as you breathe in, you'll hinge forward on the knees. But as you're moving now, making your breath integral to this part of the practice. So your body is moving with your breath. And you're letting your breath really guide you into the movement. And as you can let go of that kind of reflex for the mind to want to tell you what to do in a way, you can then allow yourself to relax into the movement. It's your breath is taking care of that. It's guiding you. You can start to open out the movement even more. You're starting to stretch out the parameters of the body. Note how the body's responding to that. And if you want, you may want to come back in again, make the movement a little bit smaller to kind of keep the inner focus a little bit more acute. And then you've done your next round or so. Then we're going to come back into child. So we're going to sit back on the heels, bring your knees together, feet together. And sitting back on the heels, your arms can stretch out in front of you. And your forehead coming down to the mat. Make sure you're on your blanket here, just so a lot more comfortable, nourishing to the body. And see here, where you're holding the body's weight, see if you can let go of that. So let the hands relax, the shoulders relax, the belly relax, the trunk of the body relax. So your weight is settling on the earth. And again, you're just kind of connecting into this flow of gravity through the body to earth. And bringing your hands together, walk your elbows in a little bit, and then take your hands behind the head so they come to rest on the back of the neck. Your hands will be in prayer here. Hands coming back down, pressing down onto the mat again, looking forward, lifting up onto all fours, and toes tucking under. You're arriving into down dog. And as you arrive in down dog now, you'll bend each knee in turn, so you're taking a stationary walk in your down dog, one leg to the other. And then following that movement from one leg to the other, start to walk the feet forward, up towards the hands, really leisurely walk here. And that will take you into your forward fold. And just taking whatever forward fold is going to be useful for you here. You could catch hold of your elbow points and let them hang down. You may want to just bring your hands to the back of the shins, calves. Maybe your hands just resting on the floor, on the fronts of the legs, whatever feels right for you here. And just letting the spine hang down. We're going to take 5 breaths here. So do put a bit of bend in your knees if you need to soften the hamstring. Give yourself another round or so of breath. then just letting your hands come out to the front of the body now, and you're starting to roll the spine up and into standing. And arriving in standing, as you arrive, fingers coming up to the tops of the shoulders, elbow points together, and your in-breath, the elbows lifting up, the out-breath coming around the back of the body. So excuse me, I have the radiator on now, it's made my throat very tickly. I'm actually going to run and get a glass of water, I haven't got one here. Just carry on doing a few circles for a couple of moments and then take your circles the other way. Hello again. Okay, so another circle more, whatever direction you're doing. And then letting go of the hands, bending your knees, root down into your feet. And with your in-breath, your arms floating up above you and you're up into chair. Now, as you were doing earlier, just taking your arms apart now and feeling the arms as an extension up from the waist. Bring the gaze to the ceiling. Do another 3 rounds of black air. Feel the downward flow through the legs. And the body lifting up and away from that contact with earth. Another in-breath. And then find yourself down and into a forward fold. Let your spine unravel here as you arrive in that forward fold. An in-breath, left hand can come to the right leg or else just down to the floor in front of the right foot or even the left foot. Your right arm will lift up, taking you into a twist. Come to the other side. Just mirroring where you place the left hand, now right hand there. Left hand lifting. One more round each side. Allow your arms to open like the wings of a bird. Arms coming down, and your fingertips very lightly on the mat. A little bit of bend through the knees, look forward, and feel the spine lengthening as you lift up through the backs of the legs. And your hands coming down now. We're stepping back into down dog. Bend through the knees and just take your, just do your imaginary walk from one leg to the other, a few breaths. And then, with your in-breath, as if you're coming over on the crest of a wave, draw the body forwards and so you arrive into a plank, the gaze forward. And then dropping your knees to the mat. With your out-breath, pelvis back towards heels. And with your in-breath, you're sliding through and into cobra. You're arriving cobra, and you'll turn your gaze to your right shoulder, to the center line, to your left shoulder, to the center line, look up to the ceiling, eyes level, and then lifting up and back into down dog. Take a couple of breaths in down dog. And then bending right knee, root back into your left heel. Do the same on the opposite side. Then both heels lifting, bending the knees with the heels lifting, and imagine you're trying to bring the front of the body towards the front of the thighs. In breath. And with your out breath, your feet are walking, stepping, floating forwards, up towards the hands. Out breath, the lightest touch of your fingertips on the mat, either in front of the feet or just to the side, so there's a line from fingers to toes to fingers. In breath, off your spine again. And out breath, folding. We're going to come up into chair again. So bend your knees as your arms start to float up. And with your out breath, you're rising back into the heart, your leg straightening. Give yourself between 3 or 5 rounds of breath here. Just feeling the contact of your feet on the earth. Don't try and change anything about that contact. But just notice in this moment, time, space, how you are in contact, how it feels in contact with the earth. Without feeling it has to be anything other than how you find it. And breathing out into that contact. As you breathe out, if you just open your mouth and let the breath escape very softly through the mouth. And then, with another in-breath, your knees will bend again and you're rising back and into chair. Then you move down into your feet, the arms soft here. So you don't have to pull the body up at all. Just from that downward flow, you get some lovely rebound up through the body. And that's enough just to keep the arms lifting up above the head, extending up from the waist. Just turn your gaze up, the last breath. And then with your out breath, you're folding down again into your forward fold. So slowly the spine will unravel itself into that forward fold. We're going to take a few more breaths here. Just rooting down into your feet. With that anchor point for the body's weight. Just your spine and relax downwards. However that feels in the doing. Just knowing that's not the end point. Just holding the shape with as much space, ease. Sense almost of inner grace that you can find to offer it. Then we're going to offer the spine again, so whatever version you like to use, just bring your hands to legs, to the ground in front of you, to the sides of the feet. And as you root down into your feet, feel that sense of lifting up through the backs of the legs and out along the spine. Breathe in, keep your gaze soft, and your out breath, hands will come down and you're rising back into down dog again. Lift bend through your knees in down dog. And with your knees bent, you can lift your sit bones even more up towards the ceiling. And then, as if you're coming over on the crest of a wave, you're going to come into a plank, so you're coming up and over into your plank. Look forward. And bring your knees to the mat. With your knees to the mat, come back to your heels. Just pause there, look towards your hands. So you kind of can then sense, feel where the spine's now going to travel. And bringing the front of the body as close as you can to the floor, you'll slide forward into your cobra. And this time, you'll look towards your left shoulder, back towards the center, to the right, to the center, up to the ceiling, to the center, and then toes tucking under, and you're lifting up and back into down dog. Right hand now coming over to your left leg, and if you bring up your left thumb up to the crease of the thigh again, like you were doing earlier when sitting, and from that crease of the thigh, as if you're ironing out your right leg, bring it down its length towards the right ankle, and look out underneath your right armpit. Left hand joining the right hand back into all four points in down dog, and right hand up towards the crease of your left thigh. And from that crease of the left thigh, iron out your left leg towards the left ankle, and you turn out to look underneath your left armpit. And your right hand coming down. With your in-breath, bring your heels high. Draw the front of the body as much as you can towards your thighs. And then stepping, walking, jumping the feet towards the top of the mat. And in-breath, off your spine again. And your outward folding. In-breath, coming all the way up to lift now, up to rise. And your out-breath back and into the heart. Arriving in the heart, reaching down for your feet. And on your in-breath, stepping the right leg all the way back as far as you can. The right foot's on the diagonal. Front knee bends. And we'll come up into warrior two. Looking down the length of your left arm. Breathe in. Bring your right arm over to join the left. Breathe out. And take your right arm back out again into warrior two. Breathe in. Bring that right arm over. And breathe out. Coming back out into warrior two. One more round. And arriving back into warrior two, turn your front palm up. Breathe in and windmill the front palm up, the back arm down the leg, to the back leg. And breathe out, arrive back into warrior two. Breathe in, coming into a reverse warrior again. Windmill the left arm up, right arm down the back leg. Back to warrior two. One more round. And coming back, both hands to the floor. Your right arm will windmill all the way up and over. And your back foot now is going to step forward. You're back into a forward fold. Coming to rise again, a big circle through the arms as you lift up. And then you bring the hands back down and into the heart. The hands at the heart, feet on the earth. Just feel your weight again, transferring down through legs into feet. And then a big step back, with the left foot into the space behind you, anchor that back foot down, and your arms will come out to the sides into warrior two on this side, right leg forward. Breathe in, bring the left arm over to join the right, and breathe out. The left arm comes back, taking you back to warrior two. Another couple of rounds. In breath over. The out breath back out. The in breath. The right hand turns up. Left hand down the back leg as the right arm lifts up. And the out breath back into warrior two. Another in breath. And into your out breath. One more round. Again, this time the right hand will come down towards the floor. And the left hand will windmill all the way up and over. And this time you're going to step back into down dog. Right leg joining the left. Breathe in and let your sit bones slip. And then bend in your knees. Now imagine you're drawing the front of the body towards the fronts of the thighs. And then start to root down into your heels, straighten out the backs of the legs. And then your next round of breath. Make sure you've got your blanket underneath you now. We're dropping down onto all fours. Knees on the blanket. And you're stretching your arms out in front of you. And with the arms out in front of you, your pelvis lifting up. Your forehead is coming to rest. Now draw your sit bones back away from your hands there. To really open up that stretch in the upper spine. Start to slide your hands back towards you, taking you into child. Pelvis coming to rest towards the heels. And then, hands coming either sides of the body, palms turned up. You can bend your elbows a little bit if you prefer. Give yourself another 3 rounds of breath. And then, from those rounds of breath, then coming up and into a comfortable seated position. So then if you just bring your shoulders forward, and you'll see you've got the line of your collarbones just underneath the shoulders here. So bring your thumb just at that point, the points near the center of the chest, just underneath your collarbones. And just pressing into those points there. It's your lung points really. They're really useful at this time of year as we go into seasonal change. And if chest wants to tighten at all, then you get those kind of rather annoying little tickly coughs, you know, where, oh, it just won't go away. This helps to relax here. And then just work your way along the underside of your collarbones. Just pressing in, massaging in, out towards your shoulders. So in autumn, Chinese medicine, just doing it maybe one more time. In Chinese medicine, autumn, the organ is seen to be the intestines and also your lungs. The lungs often seem to be the kind of seat of your emotions. So it's a good time to kind of process things in the same way as the leaves are being shed from the trees. So too, I mean, as the years progressed, just seeing if there's anything that we've held on to that we could let go of, we could feel, and then maybe having felt it, we don't need to hold on to it. It just helps to get the energy moving into the lungs. And if you bring your shoulders again, you'll notice you've got this little hollow down there, just at the base of the throat, there. Little soft point, so you don't want to kind of strangle yourself, you know, kind of press your windpipe and block off the air. Just that little soft point down at the base of the throat. Just massaging into that for a moment. Yeah, the large intestines, I suppose, is really how we process things. It's how we digest what we assimilate in the world, in our lives. You know, not just the food, but also all the words we receive, things we watch, see, people we kind of converse with. All of it we take into ourselves on some level. It imprints on us. And those bits which we don't have a use for, aren't useful or beneficial to our well-being. In a sense, it's useful just to let them go, because I know we all have this habit as human beings to kind of use our bodies, our minds as a bit of a storage house, cluttering it up with all sorts of things, some of which we're not even really aware of half the time. There. So having done that now, then stretching out your legs. And as we started, toes flexing up to the ceiling, and an in-breath, arms floating up. And with your out-breath, arms just floating forward towards your feet, towards your legs, wherever they want to arrive. Then taking your right arm up and over into a twist. Your thumb will be facing up. Now drawing energy back into your core here, so rather than you've got to reach out into the arm. Wimble that right arm over. Take your left arm out behind you into twist over to the other side. The left arm coming over. As your right arm comes out behind you, I had to think so hard there how to actually do that. I wasn't sure if the arm was going up or over or underneath. Gosh, I'm going to have the same on this side now. Right arm coming over, I think I've done that right, and left arm coming out behind you. Finding your way into the twist one way or another, from side to side. We'll do a final round. And the left arm is going to come over now, joining the right, but your arms are going to be crossed. And then you bend your elbows, you look forward, and then you can fold. And head hung between your shoulders with your arms folded over one another, Your elbows coming out to the side. And then hands coming down to the floor. Sounds like the dogs are very, very busy about something downstairs. In breath, look forward. Out breath, folding. Start to come up and into sitting again. And then bending your knees, coming down onto your spine. Hugging your knees into the chest. Make sure you're on your blanket here. Knees into your chest, hands coming over the tops of the knees. And your in-breath, just easing your knees away from you. Out-breath, drawing them back in. Take a few rounds of breath there. In-breath, knees away. Out-breath, back in. This is one of these asanas that's so simple but just feels so good. Very relaxing to all the internal organs of the body. Almost as slow as you can do this movement, the more then you can kind of fine-tune, almost become aware of what's actually going on inside the body. All these organs in there that we know so little about. That is so much a part of us, keeping us well, healthy. Just sending intention to your breath, to nourish, to replenish. More one can kind of stay in this state, which is easy to do here in a yoga class when we're lying on our back and it's all hopefully just feeling quite nice and all shavasana's in front of us and that kind of feeling. But the more you can kind of replenish and keep one's body in this state of ease, as it were, relaxation, so gives the organs, the body, the physical body, that chance to function more effectively, efficiently. And when you're ready to, legs stretching out down to the mat, and you're arriving into Shavasana. So taking time as you arrive and lying down, to find ease, comfort, balance through the body. And before you really settle, keeping your gaze very soft, you just open your eyes. But then soften your gaze as much as you can, so whilst the eyes are open, you're not connecting with whatever you're seeing in front of the eyes. And then when you're ready to, allowing your eyes to shut again. And bringing mind, body into rest, into stillness. For those of you who've got a bit more time and want to spend a bit longer in Shavasana, do feel free to do so. For those of you who need to get on and do other things, and starting to become aware of your surroundings. And taking time to enjoy, to connect to any sounds around you, to build contact with earth, with the air, touch of the body. And allowing your breath to flow very freely, your natural breath. And following the flow of that breath, if when you breathe in, you may want to lift your arms up over the head and breathe out through the mouth. And then bring the arms back down again. And when you're ready to move, take your time to come over, to bend knees and come over to the right hand side. And then find your way up and into sitting. And again, take a comfortable seated position on your blanket and your hands coming back to where you started. And your eyes shutting. And with your eyes shut, bring your awareness down to your sit bones, to contact of the base of the spine with the earth. And note how the earth is holding you. Whatever else is going on in your mind, around you, that you are held on its surface. And following the flow of breath up through the body from the earth into the space around you. And feeling in that flow of new breath, infinite possibilities, choices, clear, fresh space to be. And when you're ready to, bringing hands up to the heart. And there, bowing forwards to anything you'd like to in your life, inside, outside. And bowing to the heart and to earth. And coming up when you're ready and letting go of the practice. Thank you.